Welcome back. The reinstatement and subsequent sacking of the former chairman Presidential Task Force on Pension Reforms, Mr. Abdulrasheed Maina, is another issue that has continued to generate reactions. But what does the labor law say about the issues? We have some reactions.
I think Rule 04102 of the Public Service Rules provide for the discipline of members of the Federal Civil Service Commission. So that discipline could involve dismissal and other forms of discipline. So to say that the Federal Civil Service Commission has power to reinstate him or even dismiss him, the answer is yes. But the Federal Civil Service Commission sought for the advice of the Attorney General of the Federation. And the Attorney General of the Federation is aware that Maina's picture has always been in the EFCC website as a wanted person. So what stops the AGF from liaising with the EFCC to give the advice he did, or the Federal Civil Service Commission to tell Maina to get clearance letter from the EFCC? But the Federal Civil Service Commission wouldn't have done that, considering that Maina had the ears of the Chief of Staff, AGF, and Minister of Interior. So if you are the head of service and you see this picture, you'll just be bound by what the AGF says. So I think ordinarily, they ought not to have reinstated him until he got himself cleared from all government agencies, merely presenting court documents. I've read the comment of Okoye Obla, the special assistant advisor to the president on legal matters, arguing that the AGF got judgments of court, which those judgments were not appealed against, and he acted on them. The publicity-wise, I think it isn't good for this administration to have this. The man has excess baggage. You don't, even for public policy, for reasons of public policy, they ought not to have reinstated him, even if EFCC gives him a clean bill of health. Okay, now they reinstated him and he was removed, courtesy of the presidential directive. Why is it they are keeping quiet and EFCC is locking up all his properties? So if he was clean ab initio, why is EFCC taking a position now? So I think the whole thing amounts to absurdum ad absurdum. It's quite absurdity at work.
Another senior lawyer picks holes in the arguments of the Attorney General of the Federation that Mr. Maina still enjoys the presumption of innocence.
For over 4 years, he had been out of the service. And it was not just a person that just walked away. What happened was that following a query that was issued to him in 2013, in February of that year and March of that year, and his refusal to appear in the office, he was dismissed for absconding. And a warrant was issued for his arrest. He defied that warrant. He instituted an action in court. Subsequently, the warrant was set aside by Justice Adamu Bello on the 27th of March 2013. But that's all that he got. The judgment that he got was in respect of that warrant. And it was to enforce his fundamental right to liberty and possibly fair hearing. So it had nothing to do with his employment and his abscondment from work. And so when the Attorney General of the Federation then triggered all this whole process by generating letters wherein he asserted erroneously and falsely that that judgment be given the consequential effect by way of reinstating the same Maina 4 years after he'd been booted out of service. You know, one It's left to wonder what the Attorney General of the Federation was thinking. The argument by the AG's proxies that, oh, he's not been found guilty, the presumption of innocence still inure in his favor. I've called it a no-brainer because if somebody didn't make himself available, ran away, so how could he have been discharged or acquitted or found guilty? So he knew that he ran away. So the first duty the Attorney General owed the Nigerian people in the public interest, now that he is saying that he acted in the public interest, that duty was, upon realizing that the man had resurfaced, re-emerged, and he had reappeared, was to have directed that he be apprehended immediately and be dragged before that court. Now, for the Attorney General to then set in motion processes that not only led to the reinstatement of the man, but which also led to his being paid a whopping sum of over 22 million naira in salaries and allowances, the backlog of salary and allowances that he never worked for and which he never earned. In a country where the minimum wage remains 18,000 naira and where workers are dying because they've not been paid, is the height of callousness. So this is a very ugly story. And as ugly as it is, the Buhari administration owes Nigeria a duty to deal with it firmly.